To the flag, we'll call the meeting to order. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Deserve a moment of silence. Thank you. All right, we'll do a roll call of members on the committee. Eileen McNabb Coleman. Amy Sargent,
Here.
Mark Strong,
Here.
Ben Vitale,
Present.
and myself are present. First order of business, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the September 9th, 2025 meeting.
Move it. Second.
Motion a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Anyone opposed? Minutes are approved. There's one appointment that will go to the full legislative meeting, would be for Andrew Rodko, to the Fire Advisory Board. And that looks like it's to fill out a term of, from 10/29/25 to the end of this year, 12/31/25. So it's been opening for an unexpired term. That, we'll move right into our department updates. We'll start with 911 Center, Denise Spengler.
Good evening. You have my report, just a couple of highlights. I had a coordinator conference last week, first week of October. Just a couple of things in there that were noteworthy. We had a really good mental health training. We watched a good video. Actually, I'm going to send that out to the group just to watch. Kind of highlights how calls that law enforcement sees, that dispatchers hear, how it impacts their well-being. A lot of dispatchers say, I'll never be able to unhear that. And this video was really impactful to that. So it's like 18 minutes. I'll send it out to the group. Just take a look at it if you have a few free minutes. One of the other presentations that we had that was really eye-opening was from Alex Wilson. He's the lead counsel for the Sheriff's Association. And he gave a really great presentation on the legal aspects of the position. Right now, we've been working on implementing all the new making sure that we are adhering to all the new PSAP standards that have come out. A couple of the things that we have to implement are doing hearing tests for new staff. We already do fingerprinting, and now we have to start doing a psychological exam. So I'm working through those things to implement those for our next set of hires. We are also working on, we've got 3 new people that have started, though they're in training, progressing through, they're working on EMD right now. I think it's on my report. And they'll go to basic dispatch school in next week and the following. Those are all part of the PSAP standard requirements that we are already doing. So there's not a lot that we have to modify, but there definitely are some things that we have to do a little differently. And I'm also trying to look at accreditation because I would really like to see us accredited. But again, all these things cost money. So I'm really trying to make sure that we're solid in what we're doing today. If there's anything else that I want to highlight, if anyone had any questions, and I have one resolution.
Anybody, any questions for Denise? If not, I guess we'll move to your resolution.
Yep, it's JP1, and this is to apply for a grant for the state grant for the EZNet. This is kind of a gimme grant. Once we apply for it, we'll get the money. And it's really to start the build out of the EZNet, which is the IP network for emergency services. The goal of the state giving this money is really for every county to get started process so that we eventually will all be integrated together. And throughout the state, we'll be able to share data. Really, it's basically a fiber optic network. I've been working with IT. I've been talking with Tom on that just to make sure, because one of the key things that we talked about at our conference was people needing to hire a consultant, which is going to suck up a lot of the grant. But I think we'll be okay because Tom seems to be pretty familiar with that. So, we'll work together on that so that we can strictly use the money for equipment.
Entertain a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, next up, we'll move on to assigned counsel, Lloyd Hoskins.
Oh, thanks. Wanted the color one, Lloyd.
I know, I don't have a colored furnace.
Not a budget?
I forget to get it up.
You were being cost conscious.
And they should have been on front and back too.
Thank you.
So if you look at this with cross-eyed, you're supposed to be able to read something in there?
The picture that pops out.
After a while, you stare long enough.
I remember those.
For lottery numbers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. You received my report for this month. We're pretty much on track with the numbers of cases that we've assigned. If there's any questions or concerns, trying to address those. The one thing that came to my attention today, and I've spoke with the county attorney about it, hard to believe, we were relocated up at the Auburn Professional Building up on Westlake Ave 1 year ago. So we just got our lease yesterday or today for either a 1 year lease or a 2 year lease. If we go with a 1 year extension, it's a 3%. Excuse me, it's 3%. If we go with a 2 year, it's 3% for the first year and 0% for the second year. I've had Fred review the lease. It just came to my attention today. Fred and I, we were thinking, we probably should go with a 2 year lease. It's paid for by a grant that we have. And I've never done an emergency resolution, so I don't know how this works. And I just wanted to bring it up to the committee. Fred said he could have a resolution prepared to go to Ways and Means. I mean, the lease expires at the end of the month, so.
Executive session. Is this executive session?
No, not for the lease. So if I could just jump.
Sure, absolutely.
So two questions. One is 1 year, 2 year. The next would be, we could get a resolution ready for Ways and Means if the body approves the concept. Pretty easy to do. Just an extension of a lease. We've done that several times. Wasn't sure where the committee is on 1 year or 2 years, so I think that's a question. So we could go through the emergency authorization, but it's almost the end of the month.
Right.
I looked at the lease, it'd be easy to have the body prove it at the end of the month. We could have a lease signed on the 29th or 30th and get that, if that's what the committee would like.
We're very happy there. The landlord has been excellent. I don't know where else we would go.
Yeah, hearing that.
We don't know either. Look at us.
You got a large
Given our
car?
current situation, I would look at 2 years, honestly. And with the 3% and then the zero increase on the second year, I think is.
It's effective. We're not going to do anything right today otherwise.
So
As far as, you mean vote on or anything, or?
it's the.
No, I mean, an alternative would take a lot longer,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, we have nothing else on the table to pursue, I guess.
I would just take a straw poll, if send it to Ways and Means.
Can I just check with Legislator Daley, are you on to just check with you as the chair of Ways and Means that'll be okay to run this resolution to Ways and Means?
Yes, if the committee wants to have that resolution show up at Ways and Means with the 2 years, 3 and then 0, yes, that's fine.
All right, very good. Thank you. With that, so.
Good.
Good.
I'm good.
I think sounds like the direction we'll go with it.
thank you. Thank you very much. And again, it just came to us yesterday.
You should have known it was coming.
I know. JP2,
Okay, we'll move right into your resolutions. Yeah.
Just for a little background, the simplest way to look at our budget, this particular budget would be this pie graph, and you can see that some months we've spent, our high month was 260,000. Our low month was, 187 back in July. We are paid up. We have a balance of $121,000 left, and we still have November and December. So this resolution is seeking 250,000 from general fund balance to be transferred into this particular account, cover November and December.
Okay.
The second handout that I have is the expense revenue ratio. The state ILS is reimbursing us in total a little over 54%. So that 250,000, we will get over half of that back, a little over half of that back. They pay for entirely, they pay 100% for rent, they pay 100% for Westlaw, they pay 100% of our salaries, they pay 90-some% of our fringe benefits. Where they fall short is when they raise the rates for the attorneys to 158, that was an expense that the county had to incur. And so that's why it suddenly drops to, we're 100% on all these expenditures, except when we go to pay for the attorneys, and then it drops down. So we're about 54.3%.
I do know, you brought this up during your budget meeting, and the budget director advised you to bring this resolution forward at this time.
Correct.
Tom, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Lloyd, these payments get made out of Munis. Is that why you wouldn't have enough money to actually make the payments without the transfer in?
That's correct.
Okay, and the money that offsets your salary and some of the administrative costs, they can't, if those were less, that still wouldn't make them eligible for the attorney costs. Is that true?
Correct.
Okay, so I mean, at this point, you're maximizing everything you can administratively, but we didn't budget enough in that line to cover the attorney costs.
That's correct. And last year at this time, we kind of did the same thing. We had to go back and get some money out of the contingency account to cover the last month also.
So I guess we're seeing a trend. You think that's going to continue next year?
Well, last year when I prepared the budget, it was some of this account was cut. Will the trend, there's 4 or 5 things that generate these costs. We have defendants that are very difficult. They're angry clients. They're very difficult to work with. We have judges that, if the client goes to the judge and says, I don't like my attorney halfway through the case, the judge is going to reassign it. So we start all over again. We have, and this is a compliment, we have a very aggressive DA's office that is aggressive on crime. And so, these defendants, that are represented, the defense attorneys trying to get, the best deal they can for their client. And that takes time, and that working with the client and working with the DA's office. And that's a compliment to Brittany too, is that she's very aggressive on crime. And
I'm not blaming you for the trend, Lloyd, believe me. All I'm saying is that's probably not going to change for next year.
correct.
So we can cut that budget again, and then we'll be back in the same boat 12 months from now.
I don't see it decreasing.
Okay.
The eligibility standards, they're set by New York State, and the eligibility standards, in my opinion, are very high. I mean, if you're a single person making 35,000, you're going to qualify.
No, in reality, it's a mandated expense that.
No,
we'll continue to see.
I just wanted him to say it. That's all.
I think what we're getting at is we need to budget differently in
Right.
this office, right? I think that's what you were getting at.
So when
We
you,
don't have any way of telling, we can't predict how much, how many clients you're going to get in a year's time. It's very hard to.
Right. I do have a listing of our cases so far, and they're in line with last year and the year before. The problem is that they're very difficult. We just had this trial of Mr. Heinz, who went to trial and lost the trial, but $40,000 just to take one client to trial. 37,000, something like that.
just round them, yeah. No, we understand. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, no.
Well,
I'll move it.
I was gonna say, I'll second it, but.
Right, as I was getting to that point, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Carried.
With reservations.
This one will require 2/3 vote and full edge too.
Right.
All right, yeah, we'll move right into JP3.
Now the good news.
Thank you. JP3. I'm seeking, this resolution seeks to have a contract signed for 30 licenses in the amount of 52,000 for year one. This is a 3-year agreement with Westlaw. Westlaw is a online legal research that all of our attorneys use. And we give them a license to use in defense of their case. The district attorney has 10 licenses. The county attorney has
About 10.
10 licenses. I don't know if Brian, if you have licenses.
Does the sheriff have a license?
What I had suggested at our budget meetings is that we all come together, and so Amanda O'Grady has been looking at whether we can get a better price if we combine all these licenses. The cutoff is 50 licenses, and we don't make that cutoff. So the price is the price. This, for my department, is again grant funded, so all of it is 100% funded by Indigent Legal Services.
Entertain a motion?
Move it.
Second?
I'll second it. Question. So you said it's a 3-year agreement. First year was 52,000. I'm sorry, I didn't have the,
The second year is 54,900, and third year is 57,700.
okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Carried.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Thank you.
And we will move to the district attorney.
Good evening, everyone. I just have a couple of very brief updates. Our Community Accountability Board, I think have graduated up to participants so far, so that's been going very well. We've had a significant increase in prison referral cases over the past couple of months. I don't anticipate it getting any better. It's been taking a lot of our time and resources, much more than we've ever really dedicated to it. I think we indicted 7 or 8 prison-related cases last month, anywhere from aggravated harassments to assaults on staff and inmates. So it's been a lot on our office lately, and we'll see where it goes. I'm going to keep stats over the next couple of months to see how much it's been increasing. I don't have any other updates. I do have one resolution. I am just looking to accept the GIVE grant funding. which is been allocated for our grant coordinator and our community accountability part-time coordinator.
I move that.
Second,
Oh, yeah.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Next up would be Riley from EMO. Riley excused him. He's got a training thing going on where one of his instructors was unable to make it. So he has to step in and pinch hit and be the instructor for that training. So he's unable to make the meeting. He didn't really have much updates, just a normal status quo going in his office. Anybody has anything they want to reach out to him or through me, I can do that for you.
I have a quick question. Can we go back? Can I ask a question of Lloyd? Lloyd, you referenced, I've been sitting here thinking about it, the budget cuts last year. We cut from you? I can't recall.
It wasn't a lot.
I didn't think it
Yeah,
would be. Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't significant.
Okay. I don't
So,
remember anything.
yeah,
I don't remember what it was. All right, I'll look into it. I'm just
I'd have
curious.
to go back to.
Okay. Just curious. Thank you.
With that, we'll move into probation. Mr. Thomas.
Well, I don't have any resolutions this month and the only thing that just to update on is we got everybody trained now fully, at least who we have. And sent supervisors to the supervisors training in Albany. And really it was good for them as well as coming back with some information. And we actually we found out that we were doing more right than we're doing wrong. So that was good. But just busy with investigations. I think Brittany said that, you know, a lot of prison cases, which means a lot of investigations on our end. So we have a retirement coming soon, but with that, we haven't been able to use that person in the rotation. So it's just been kind of a lot without everybody in the rotation of investigations and supervision. So well, we're doing what we can and figuring that out. Does anybody have any questions for me?
No, I just think keep up the good work.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sheriff.
Good afternoon. I just have one item I wanted to talk about before the resolutions that is part of my report, but staffing in the jail continues to be a challenge and unfortunately getting worse. We're down 14 positions in the jail and I had another resignation today. I've mentioned in the past that I think it's really incumbent that we try to sit down with the union representing our jail staff and try to have some discussions. Their contract ends at the end of this year, and at least have some discussions about trying to retain some of our senior folks that are coming up on retirement. Right now, we actually have 6 additional people that are eligible to retire from the jail. And between now and the end of June of next year, we'll have an additional 11 that are going to become eligible. And I mentioned quite a few months ago, you know, I think it's imperative that we try to sit down. I know we've got some budget challenges, but this is going to end up potentially costing us more down the road if we don't try to address this staffing issue. If we get to a point where we have to push out our borders and that we have to seek, you know, locations to board our own inmate population, it's going to get quite expensive and challenging to address that. So I would really like to urge, you know, this committee, legislature to sit down and at least have some discussions and try to take a look at what that would potentially cost down the road if we don't address this and we continue to lose staff. I think it's becoming a priority. I know they reached out in March with a certified letter requesting to sit down and start having some conversations. I followed up with a letter in May asking that we try to sit down and have some conversations. before people were becoming eligible to retire. And I think the farther we go, people that are becoming eligible to retire are just not having much faith that it might be advantageous for them to stay. So I think there's some things we might be able to do to retain some of our senior staff. And I just would urge the legislature to come up with a time and date, whoever's going to do that, to sit down with them. Because I think it's going to be a very serious challenge here. It's getting really challenging now, down to 13, 14 with this additional retirement or this additional resignation. We have 5 in an academy right now that we've hired. With them in the academy, that's that much more overtime, unfortunately, that we've have to spend making up for the shifts that they would cover, mandated sticks. And we've had a lot of people leave over the last few years, and it's been significant and it's been very challenging. But we've had actually 21 people leave since 2023 to today. And we've had 12 this year alone. That doesn't include the additional one that is leaving that just announced. And we have 2 anticipated retirements coming up here before the end of the year. So a significant number of people, a lot of overtime to cover all of these, the new hires, and when they're in the academy, trying to replace these positions, and we're just not keeping up with the losses. So again, I just hope that we can try to address that. But beyond that, I don't have anything additional relative to my report. Happy to answer any questions. I do have a number of resolutions.
Legislator Strong.
Sheriff, this committee or the talk, are you looking to set up a committee, or what is your anticipation?
Well, I would just like to hopefully see somebody from the legislature, set up a time to sit down and have some discussions with the union to see if maybe there's something we can do to keep some of these people, or, even if we have to delay, full negotiation, but some way to work on some strategies so that we don't continue to bleed staff and potentially have to start boarding our own people out and lose that board in revenue that we count on.
Have you talked to the chair about that?
They have been reaching out to the chair. We've been trying to get a date scheduled. That hasn't happened yet. I've reached out earlier in the year. That didn't happen, obviously, with my letter and the certified letter they sent in March, but it's beyond time to start working on this issue and try to resolve this.
Do your resolutions reflect who you lost today?
They don't. We're just trying to keep.
You're just gonna get started.
Right. So we've been, it seems like every meeting I'm bringing a resolution to this committee to fill a position in the jail. We're just trying to stay ahead of those. And we've hired a number of people, but we're just not hiring them fast enough to catch up. So we are filling some of these positions as I bring resolutions, but then we're losing people again, and I have to come back with more resolutions, and that's where I'm at.
And that's including the 5 you said that are training. Will that reduce this number, or that's with including them?
No, including them, we're still down,
Okay.
actually 14 with the resignation today. So, and when they're in the academy now, you're basically down 19 people that you're trying to, fill all of these mandated posts, 19 less people, and it's been challenging. So I'll talk about it tomorrow night with my budget meeting relative to the overtime, because our overtime has been through the roof, and we could get some of these positions filled. We could hopefully, we would cut down on some of the overtime need.
But with those 5, even though they're hired and employees, they're not able to fill a shift, and because they're still.
Yes and no. So some of them can't. They're in the academy. Once they get out and get field trained, they'll be able to. We did hire 2 state corrections officers that came to work for us. We did have them on the floor before they had to go back to the academy again. They have to go through another academy. Their certification did not come with them, but they were working on the floor before they went to the academy. So some of the 5 were able to actually work by themselves on certain posts, and some won't be able to until they get done with the academy and complete field training.
Are you looking for a name tonight, or to have this discussion?
I don't.
Is it the union that you want us to have the discussion?
Yeah, I think it's just time to.
The chairman.
I think collectively we need to sit down and start having some conversations about, can we retain some of these senior staff? Maybe we look ahead to negotiations or forward down the road, but I just hate to lose. I've got 11 additional people between today in June that are gonna become eligible to retire. And, you know, if there's some things we can do to maybe keep some of those folks. Trying to recruit people is near impossible right now.
I'd recommend that, Tom, you being chair of the committee, get together with the chairman and kind of push this issue. That makes sense.
And I will contact the chairman and bring your concern to him and see what.
It's a priority.
I think most of us sitting around the table aren't aware that you sent two letters, so. I wasn't aware.
Sounds
To be honest with you, I didn't know.
So I think that's a good avenue to pursue, Chair.
All right,
Chair of Legislature.
we'll do.
Thanks, Tom.
You
Do I
get,
have anything else beyond my resolutions?
I guess we'll start with JP 5 if you're ready.
But
Motion a second.
Hold it.
All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Carried. JP 6, Sheriff, will and part-time.
Yeah, so I'm trying to create and fill, I don't anticipate being able to fill 10 positions right away, but creating part-time positions for the custody division in the jail to try to maybe bring back some retirees or some qualified candidates to come in and work for straight time, part-time, to alleviate the need to fill some posts with overtime positions.
I'll move it.
Motion a second. Any discussion?
Yeah. I'm gonna go against what I've been doing for the last months. I am actually gonna vote for these tonight. One of the main reason is, last ledge meeting, we listened to a lady talk about in Long Island, the sheriff's department doesn't do anything but transfer inmates from jail to prison to court and stuff like that. And counties are required to have a jail. They are not mandated to have road patrol, but they are mandated to have a jail. So we have to maintain our jail. And I'm not saying that we can't maintain it differently, but right now we got to maintain our jail. That's why I'm going to vote for these tonight.
Can I ask a question too? Is it fair to say that all the overtime that they're required to do is pushing people to retire more? Is it kind of a circular issue?
I think
So, because they're exhausted, so they're.
for some, they're tired, they're getting mandated, they're getting stuck. They want their time off, they can't
Right.
get it. It's also a matter of, is it more lucrative for me to retire and maybe go do something different instead of waiting to see if I get something with this contract? I think there's a number of factors, but I think there's a few that have retired that would come back given the right details if we're able to offer them certain jobs.
Further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Carried. And I guess JP 7, and I think we will offer up JP 7, 8, and 9 if no objection as a bundle.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? They're carried. And lastly, Sheriff, JP 10 for Lexol.
Flexible.
move this.
Motion second.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Opposed? And JP 10 is carried. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Anybody for the sheriff?
Certified letters went to the union. I just want to clarify.
I have a copy of the certified letter that went to the county back in March. I did not send a certified letter. I just, the letter indicated that I was ready in May. But I do have a copy of the certified letter if you want. Give you both, actually, if you want
should we go to the chairman, Amy?
Okay. Okay, that's what I was, okay.
No response back.
So there has been some discussions, but I think we keep pushing it down the road. And I think, I want to keep it clear, this is a priority, like we've got to get this done. Been trying to get this accomplished since March. We got to push this forward. Thank you.
Nothing further. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Adjourned.
We'll call the meeting to order. Think everybody's ready over there. And roll call, everybody is here present, except for the Honorable Brian Muldrow. So first order of business would be to approve the minutes of September 9th.
Second?
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hey, Mr. Reinflesh isn't here or on the call. I'm going to delay Kevin's building the ground till the end. So I'm going to ask Brian Soper to step right up and fill us in.
The only thing I'd like to add to my report is, just so you guys have a heads up in case you forget about it, Turnpike Road Bridge is gonna wind up being closed for a few weeks. We have some repairs we need to make. It's gonna,
How old is it?
it's not that old. I didn't build it.
No, I know. And I know with the engineering firm too.
Yes. So we have to do some repairs on it, so we'll probably have to have it closed for about 2 weeks. And we'll detour around onto your road, so you'll probably get lots of calls.
Why don't you close the North Division Bridge at the same time?
We don't work for the state here.
Thanks, Brian.
Does anybody have any questions?
Well done. So, yeah,
Not working for the state. This is actually a state question, but the Route 34 bridge over the river, just north of Weedsport,
The last I heard, December 1st.
still on track for that.
Yes, they're waiting on bridge establishment. The contractor only has 18 months to complete the job, so he will not do any demolition work until the steel is on
They
site.
have the stuff, and
Correct, because the delays in steel.
I guess just hearing that they're still on the same schedule is,
Yes, they're hoping for closure on December 1st and start demolition.
thank you.
so on the Turnpike Bridge, is it mostly associated with the joints?
Yes, so it's a joint issue, deck issue. It's a more place for that design.
Because that was an issue right from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's the weight coming off the top of the hill when the trucks are hitting it. They get, it springboards. It's a wooden deck bridge with beams.
A lot of force there.
Yes, causes a ripple effect.
Yeah.
We're going to be submitting it in the next round of Bridge New York.
Any other questions for Brian? If not, you go over to your resolutions, Brian.
The first one, PW1, is another MEO position.
Motion for W1, moved, second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
3-1.
PW2 is for heavy MEO's position, but just to clarify, this is the former welder's position that we're gonna defund. It's a grade 15 welder's position, make it a heavy because that's what we utilize them as an operator. So it'll save us a little bit of money in the budget. It'll put it down to a 13.
Move it.
Second.
Motion and a second, so we won't have a welder then.
We no longer build our own sanders in-house or any of that stuff, so our mechanics can weld. So whatever welding we need done is that.
Any other questions for Brian on PW2? All in favor?
Aye.
And no, so that's 3-1 pass. PW3,
That is our stores clerk, which is the person that orders all of our parts for both motor pool, highway, all supplies that highway orders, and he does all the chasing of best deal, checking bids, making lots of phone calls.
motion. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
3-1 again passes. Thank you. Any other questions for Brian? Okay.
Quick question.
Oh, yes.
Does your stores clerk work for our police?
Yes.
He's been gone already though, isn't he?
Yes, he's retired.
September.
Yeah, it's been a struggle.
Doug Kears.
Hey, good evening. Not used to the setup, Board. Usually I end up closing the meeting, but all right, I'll take
We're gonna
it.
give Kevin the honor to stay.
Mixing things up. All right. You guys got the report, a couple highlights from it. I know there's not a lot of folks here, but I want to thank all the departments that sent staff down to the conservation field days. 750 kids run around Emerson Park. A lot of different departments, planning, sheriff's department, just extension. A lot of folks are there. So really, we hear a lot of positive things from the community, and all the schools from Cayuga County were there. So it was an awesome couple of days. Weather was perfect. You couldn't ask for anything more. Not even a bee sting this year to have to tend to. So it was great. So thanks to everybody for such a good event. We did hold a pretty good tour for the Northeast Association of Conservation Districts. I was here in Syracuse. We had a nice bus load of folks come out to tour the Cayuga County countryside and stopped at Patterson Dairy Farm and Palacat's beef operation down Ledyard. I took them along Route 90 so they could see some of the Finger Lakes. Stopped at Owens on the way out the door back to Syracuse and got some cider and donuts for everybody. Seemed to be pretty well received. We got back a little late, but they enjoyed the time on the farm in the county. So that was good. And then just lastly, we finally heard back from Agnon Point, got a couple more grants coming into the county that we applied for back in the early spring. So we just found out about them and looking forward to getting those underway for next year. So it was good.
Any questions for Doug? I do have it's not really a question, just update. How's the digester doing out there? Is there anything that's going on? Is there any issues or anything like that?
No, it was great, actually. They just had open house. They restarted back up. I guess probably saw the article in the paper. Trucks are rolling in there every day, a lot of food waste coming out, and they are a complete recycling type of facility. So sometimes food waste will come in and let's say a load of seltzer. It's an obscure kind of thing. Nobody would think about that. You think of different food waste, but canned products. So they'll recycle the cardboard from that, the aluminum from that. They'll get stuff in blue barrels, squash all that down, recycle the plastic out of those. It just very little gets landfilled, if any. The director or the manager, plant manager, probably easier to speak to it, but they're doing great. They're bringing in just a lot of product coming through there. They have a renewable natural gas operation down there now. NICEAG ran the main line right down to just outside the footprint of the building. So they produce natural gas. Not a lot's being used right now. So the pipeline is full. So they have to flare some off at the moment. But they can cycle that into the electric generators, and they've been producing a couple million kilowatt hours a month for that too. So.
And the smell issues from a few years ago is all gone.
They replaced a lot of tanks, put in some different technology. They expanded the whole I don't want to call it a transfer facility, but
Transfer station.
The recycling occurs. The doors can close. Yeah, they really put a lot of effort into minimizing the concerns that were out there in the neighborhood.
They really come a long way with those whole.
Ben, I was on the tour and we went down there, no smell whatsoever.
Right, but there's a lot of technology has gone into them in the last 5 to 10 years, and yeah,
We're blessed to have it.
Yeah,
it's great.
it's a good operation down there.
Any other questions for Doug? Yeah, go ahead.
Congratulate Doug on his award,
Yeah.
new employee award.
Yeah, thanks.
Go.
Pretty cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Thanks.
Kevin.
Right. Just an update, as you all know, fall is here and winter's gonna be here in a minute, so that's our focus. Getting the boilers all tuned up and ready to run. Cleaning up the yards, getting the trucks ready, plows ready. Well, that,
So you're gonna be able to sleep in the first storm.
I don't sleep. You guys can sleep, I won't.
Okay.
That's about all I got. Anybody got any questions for me?
Anybody, Kevin? All right.
Okay, thank you.
So everybody got a resolution that I'm bringing forward here. Just want to say that we heard from campus last month. I've worked with them for over 15 years on other stuff. And I was a little bit disappointed because they basically read everybody else's information, just kind of regurgitated a lot of it back to us, which I don't put a lot of value in that. And I think they could have been directed to do some different things. But anyhow, it's middle of October and I haven't heard anything about what we're doing with the county office building. So I thought I'd put this resolution forward because if we don't move off the dime, we're never going to move. And I'm also, I actually feel bad for our employees that have a lot of their personal belongings still in that building. I can be a real jerk and say we treat people that we fire a lot worse. Because when you fire somebody, you bring them in and let them get all their personals. And our employees, our good employees, haven't been able to do that. So bringing the thing forward, we can have a discussion. And I hope this discussion leads to more discussions so that we actually start doing something. So if you want me to, I'll read it because I know you just got it. And we can have some discussions. If we don't want me to read it, you want to just have this discussions, you let me know.
Appreciate if you read it.
Okay. Whereas early morning Wednesday, May 29, 2024, a substance later determined to be vermiculite was discovered in several locations in the county office building. And whereas the building was immediately vacated and remains vacant while the environmental consultants and contractors engaged by Cayuga County continue to conduct testing as well as assessments of the conditions of the county office building in accordance with the requirements outlined in New York State Department of Labor asbestos standards. And whereas the county is working with environmental engineers and consultants to develop remediation plan that will abate the contamination within the county office building. And whereas Campus Construction Management provided its presentation to the Cayuga County Legislature on September 25th, 2025, and shared estimated costs of abatement, renovation, and new construction of the county office building at 160 Genesee Street. And whereas as of October 20, 2025, Cayuga County office building employees have not had an opportunity to retrieve their personal belongings. And therefore be it resolved, the Cayuga County Legislature authorizes the chair of the legislature in collaboration with the Cayuga County Attorney and Cayuga County Purchasing Director to request proposals for a firm to coordinate with the current and past employees, retired and resigned, to develop a plan to retrieve all personal belongings. Resolved, the Cayuga County Legislature authorizes the chair of the legislature in collaboration with the county attorney and purchasing director to request proposals to identify and remove historic and confidential materials such as, but not limited to, historic art, framed items, books in the care of legislative clerk, legal documents, etc. And resolved, the Cayuga County Legislature authorizes the chair of the legislature in collaboration with the Cayuga County attorney and Cayuga County purchasing director to request proposals to clear out the remaining items and remove the fixtures, desks, filing cabinets, chairs, etc., to render the building empty. Further resolved, the Cayuga County Legislature authorizes the chair of the legislature and to request proposals for the sale of the building to allow the county to the opportunity to weigh its options when deciding the future of the county office building located at 160 Genesee Street. Questions, comments?
I agree with the intent of the resolution, but I will not support anything that doesn't give us a price. This is just an open resolution without proper identification where the funds are coming from, and, well, basically how it's going to be paid for.
I don't want to disagree with you, Hans, but this just authorizes them to get the proposals so that it can come to us with all that information. So I agree with you. But this doesn't authorize them to go ahead and do the work.
I want to bring to your attention, the first line is says, execute professional service agreements. That's different from request for proposals. Well, perhaps taken out or changed as you see fit, but. And the back part here. The request proposal for sale of the building,
What's that now?
the last resolved,
Yeah.
you want to sell the building? Request.
I don't want, I'm just looking for options. So like, if you put out requests for proposals, maybe nobody will come forward. Maybe somebody will come forward. But without any knowledge, where are we?
Well, I guess, what's a priority, to clean up the stuff, personal items of the building, or to sell it? I mean.
Priority is have everything cleaned out of there.
Or,
Priority is to get everything cleaned out of there.
okay. Then I would suggest that's what we need to say for the proposal.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last comment.
That's what the proposal should indicate, is like to abate items to remove from the building. I mean, there's some restrictions depending on what's there. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I believe closing filing cabinets are okay. You can remove them. Contents is safe.
That's not, that would be up to the contract, the abatement people.
That's what the experts have been telling us, is that if it's a filing cabinet, you wipe down the outside of the cabinet and the contents should be relatively safe. When it comes to other materials, I think the answer is different depending on what.
Correct.
Material is.
Yep.
But that would be, I would assume that would be part of the proposal, is that the consult or whatever in advance of doing whatever.
So I'll say this, that I know somebody wants to speak on there. I'll say this so that I wrote the proposal, so it's not perfect. And our legal attorneys have just gotten it also, our attorneys, so I'm sure they can reconstruct some of it.
Let me ask you this. We have, I believe, according to the chair, we received a list of inventory up there. Is that the intent of, you want those, that removed?
Absolutely. Yeah, we want what has
It's not
to,
going to be limited to that probably, what you're.
basically what I would like to see is that the building be emptied out. We are going to have to do that no matter what. If we renovate it, if we abate it, if we do whatever, first thing we have to do is we have to empty the building.
Correct, but there's a different price on abating the contents and abating the building.
Absolutely. Okay. Somebody was.
Yeah, as you were talking, Ben, and I certainly, I concur that, this can't just linger in limbo. I totally agree with that. I did text Amanda O'Grady as you guys were talking, and I asked her, did you issue an RFP to get the stuff out of the county office building? And her response was, not yet. Jonathan asked me to put a bid together for it late last week because she had just come back from leave. We are having a meeting on Friday. I want Campus and Lozier to review the bid before I publish it. I did talk with New York State Department of Labor on it too, because I know, Aileen, we were having some conversation about whether you'd need a waiver to even get into the building to remove it. I was going to talk to Jonathan tomorrow. So, I mean, I don't know that she did not catch up with him today, but I do think some of this is in motion, and agreed, Ben. No matter what we decide to do with that building, the stuff has to get out of it. And, we need to know, from Hans's point, what's the cost of all of that? And, at one point there was, I had emailed Rory from campus and asked, what would it take to actually, if we decide to stay in the county office building, what would it actually take to make the space occupied by emergency management office essential? They're trying to work up through that because at one point we were told EMO couldn't go back into the county office building because it was in a floodplain. That did not hold out to be true. So now's the time to look at all of this. But you're right. Something better than nothing needs to start happening. I agree.
While I appreciate,
Yes, absolutely.
that there may be swirling conversations on the issue, they're not being had with the legislature.
Yep.
I do appreciate the effort here because it has been a very long time. And I think this body, it may take this body putting pressure on the chairperson and well, actually just the chairperson really, to get this started. I think if, you know, it looks like we're just doing requests for proposals or we're setting up RFPs. Basically, it just sounds like we want to get this going. And if I clarify, the last one is to get a requested proposal for the building and the opportunity to weigh options. That's very important because we're not determining that we're going to sell the building, but we just want to know what's the building worth to when we're making these decisions, right? That's
right. And there's a big difference between request for proposals and just putting a for sale sign on it. A request for proposal, we kind of maintain control because if somebody gives us a proposal that they want to do something with it that we don't want to happen, we don't have to accept it. Whereas if there's something that we would say, hey, you know, that would be really great for Auburn, it'd be great for Cayuga County, then maybe we want to consider that. But obviously the last resolve doesn't mean anything other than getting the paper out there to get, if there is interest.
Which there's no cost associated with putting out an RFP other than the time, right? So there's no downside.
Well, advertising and stuff like that.
do you think that, to Bob's point, if you change the title to say execute professional services, to say something to the effect of to
enter into requests for proposals.
yeah, enter into RFP process, something like that.
Request proposals for professional services.
Right.
I haven't heard anybody there that disagrees with the intent here. And if people would like, one of our attorneys can kind of redo my.
Could you send us a Word version?
Yeah. Probably could.
Would you send us a Word version?
I will try.
Thank you. I heard my grandmother when I was talking. If I said could, she'd say, yeah, you could, maybe, but.
Maybe.
Sorry about that.
I'm not the most talented, but I think I manage it.
Okay. We could take the sense that we're hearing here and maybe share with this group, thought. Is this going to move to the ledge this month? Is that the?
I would hope so. I mean, you know, it's going to take another month because it's going to take time to get proposals. And then obviously we're not going to vote on it until we know what we're going to spend, where the money's coming from. Even though we really don't have much option. I think our options are really zero, but we do our due diligence, right?
They have to think through what to do with, let's assume a jacket or tie can't be saved. What to do with employees' personal property in that category.
Well, and
what's going to be in that category, but.
And that's why I really say they really need to coordinate with the county employees, or we gotta have somebody to go between or whatever, because I'm sure there's gonna be stuff that people really want, but they're not gonna be able to get. And, you know, some people you might value something that another person doesn't. I don't know, just throw it away. You never know.
I could. So I don't remember which meeting it was brought up, but it was already brought up that there was been sort of an assessment, a value assessment of like, somebody said $250. Yeah, I don't.
I'm not aware of that.
It was brought up in some meeting here publicly, and I know I got a lot of feedback from employees saying, I'm not part of this equation, and so that was disheartening. So this is why I would fully support this, because our folks have been waiting a long time, and I don't know what we're waiting for. It's going to cost us either way, whether we do it yesterday or tomorrow or next week, next 6 months. Everything is just sitting there. I have things there. I have an office full of belongings myself, on the 6th floor, but, no one's communicated about these items. So I think and I would just support this. And I do think at the end of the day, it's just fund balance.
And I mean,
Be coming from.
the other night we heard that, we're putting stuff in the budget that the equipment's in that building that we could use, we wouldn't have to buy the new stuff. So, I mean, it's hurting us. The longer we wait, I think it just keeps hurting us more and more. Publicly, financially, emotionally, everything.
And for the record, there was such a rush to get everything out of one floor there, and then everything stopped. No one's ever been in to get anything out since then that I'm aware of. So, that was a year ago that we were rushing to get into the first floor to get all the contents out.
Is there, so Fred, are you thinking to redo this and bring it as ledge one, or are you thinking to have it for Ways and Means?
Either way. Just looking for some direction if you want it to go to Ways and Means or right to the ledge.
I guess first of all, is anybody here have a problem with it moving forward after Fred does his magic, or somebody does their magic? No exception, so. Elaine, I'll ask you, would you want it to go to Ways and Means or just put on ledge one?
I would, if the committee wants to entertain it coming to Ways, that's fine. At this point, though, I'm trying to understand the reason the resolution might be coming forward is to begin some form of action. Is that sort of the catalyst for this? Because when we had the meeting, I thought we were all sort of in agreement, maybe not, that I was surprised that remediation and remodeling of the county office building seemed to be the most economical in terms of finding new land and building a 3-story building or whatever we were going to do. But the point, Ben, is a decision in one way or the other needs to be made. The building needs to be cleaned out, and a decision on moving forward with redoing the county office building or not needs to be. Is that sort of where everybody's at?
I haven't heard any discussion about whether we're gonna remediate or rebuild or anything like that. I just heard some options from campus.
I thought campus's description was the most reasonable, and 60 million isn't reasonable, plus 9 million for remediation was more economical than purchasing land and building somewhere else. Or because they gave us demolition costs too. I got the impression people were thinking that, going forward with redoing the county office building seemed to make the most sense. But to your point, Ben, no, we haven't really even gotten there.
Correct. And there's nothing in this resolution that would slow any of that process down if that's the direction we chose.
So this is to give legislative approval to go forward with getting that building cleaned out and nope. That's
No,
where
it's
I'm a
to
little
move-
confused.
It's to move forward, getting the proposal so we know how much it's gonna cost and get moving.
Okay, to get the county office building cleaned out of its contents.
Correct.
Yep. Which to your point, has to happen anyway.
Correct. The cost isn't gonna change no matter what you do.
Yep.
So would you like it to go to Ways and Means or just want to put on Ledge One?
If you want to bring it through Ways, that's great. And Amanda, O'Grady will be there to talk about the status where she's at with all of this as well.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't have a problem with this, but I would be amazed if we can come up with a cost of what it would cost by Ways and Means, because I think Ways and Means is next week.
Not gonna get all cost by then. This is to go out and to start getting the proposals to bring back to us. But it's gonna take at least another month.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
So we're just saying you're saying on behalf of the legislature, it's a priority. That's what you're saying.
yeah,
So instead of perhaps somebody's working on it in the background, we don't know, it's a priority. I think we're just pushing it as to say, get started on it.
this is coming from the full edge. Gonna come from the full edge. If it passes, it's a full edge saying, we gotta clean the building out.
Yep. And then there'll be no unclarity that if that's the direction we want to go, that Amanda moves forward with whatever she's got to do to make this happen.
Yep. Okay, so if there is no disagreements, then it'll go to Ways and Means. Any other business to be brought before this committee? Somebody? Point at somebody, Mark?
I thought Doug Delastrito was supposed to be, but did he not? No?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to adjourn. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Hi.
Thank you.